We spent almost 24 days visiting Japan. We covered places in islands Hokkaido and Honshu, which is the largest island with capital Tokyo. I have added more than 10 videos on each of these places. But in this video, I will give you an ultimate itinerary on our full Japan trip. In this video, I will cover our total route with highlights of places we visited, transport, cost and tips, travel in winter season, accommodation, and full cost of the trip. This will answer most of your questions on planning your trip to Japan. We visited Japan during winter season, mid-December till January. We landed on Tokyo Narita Airport, and first 2 days we visited few places around Tokyo City. We went to Ueno Zoo, Team Lab Boardless, and Disney Sea. Next day we went to Hokkaido Island. The reason why we didn't spend much time on Tokyo in the first few days was we planned to spend the last few days of our trip relaxing and shopping in Tokyo City. We have spent 5 days in Hokkaido. We visited Hokodate City, Odori Park Winter Illumination, and historical village of Hokkaido in our first 2 days in Hokkaido. We spent about another 2 days in Hoshino Resort Tamamu, enjoying ski activities. On our last day in Hokkaido Island, we visited Asahiyama Zoo, which is famous for its penguin parade. Next day, we came back to Tokyo via train, which took us around 8 hours. Passing Tokyo, we went further down towards Kyoto. On the way, we visited Toyota Kaikan Museum. We spent another 2 days traveling Kyoto City. There are famous places around Kyoto City, like few temples, Sagano Scenic Railway, Arashiyama Bamboo Forest, Iwatayama Monkey Park, Nishiki Market, and Nara Park. Our next stop was Osaka. Main attractions in Osaka was Universal Studios, Osaka Castle, Osaka Aquarium, and Dotonbori. Before heading back to north, we could visit Hiroshima Atomic Bomb Dome and Museum. We did a one-day trip to Hiroshima, but you also have the option to visit other museums, castles in the city. We have spent one night at Himeji, visiting Himeji Castle. And we next joined the Shirakawa-go bus tour. Shirakawa-go village is known for its unique styled houses. This village is only accessible via private vehicle or a bus tour. Next day, we left to Nagano. This is an onsen area which is a Japanese spa town. We spent one night here in a Ryokan-style hotel. This town has 9 public onsens and also close to Snow Monkey Park. We returned back to Tokyo, where we have spent 3 to 4 days exploring the city. Starbucks Roastery, Shibuya Crossing, Tuna Auction, and pet cafes are some of the highlights. I have a separate video on a full guide to Tokyo City. We also did a one-day trip to Hakone, but Hakone Pass is valid for 3 days. You can spend more time near Hakone area and there are plenty of things to do. We used public transport, which is the cheapest option. If you have heavy luggages, you can leave them at coin lockers in a nearby train station. But light packing is the way to go if you are using public transport. Hiring taxis is expensive in Japan. You can use JR Pass in public transport. It is the cheaper option if you are planning to travel a longer distances as a temporary visa holder. You can use Suica card when JR Pass is not valid. December is holiday season and it is crowded. Above all, it is cold, especially in Hokkaido. It went down to -9 degrees Celsius during our stay in Tomamu. There were few snowfalls as well. If you are only planning to travel around Tokyo, it won't get cold as Hokkaido in winter season. But in the plus side, there are some unique things available only in winter season, like Sapporo winter illuminations, ice village and other winter activities. Also, the view of Mount Fuji is different in summer compared to winter. The view of Shirakawa village is more attractive during the winter season. Accommodation. We booked budget hotels or Airbnb in most of the places. The cost depends on the city and the day of your booking. In Tokyo and Kyoto, average price per night was around 80 Australian dollars, but the average cost on 31st night was doubled near Tokyo. In Hokkaido, cost per night near ski resorts was expensive as 200 Australian dollars. For a 24-day trip, I have break down the cost for two people. For JR Pass, it cost around 1,600 Australian dollars for a 14 days. You can choose from 7 to 21 days depending on your stay. Travel insurance, it cost around 214 Australian dollars. Other travel costs include using Suica card and bus tickets where your JR Pass is not valid. And for accommodation, it cost around 2,219 Australian dollars for 24 nights. For food, this is the total for both dine-in and convenience store food. The total will be 1,557 Australian dollars. Flight tickets 4,840, but this is more pricey side. Our initial flight ticket got cancelled and we had to book tickets again just 2 days before we leave. But it will be less expensive if you book your tickets in advance. Tickets for attractions and activities cost around 1,306 Australian dollars. This includes Universal Studios and Disney Sea tickets, winter activities, Samurai Museum, and other tickets to visit temples, castles, and museums. Other expenses includes buying SIM cards, toiletries, laundries, and coin lockers. So in total, it's cost around 12,472 Australian dollars for a couple. I hope I have added all the details as much as I can. Hope this helps in planning your trip to Japan. See you next time.